Hello there and welcome to some 2v2 online battles with my man Noken in de Koker, which is Dutch for, well, never mind, we're just going to call him Koeken. So me and Koeken have been playing some 2v2s lately in quick battles, and we've come across a fair amount of goon squaddery, as most people do when playing quick battles. So in this I thought I'd show you some of those battles where we deal with the goon squads and give some advice on what you can do about them if you should come up against them, because they can be a problem if you don't really know what you're doing. Going to be a bunch of 2v2s. None of these are fantastic battles in all honesty, because they're going so heavy and relying on that goon squad that they don't really know how to manage the rest of their army, so it's to be expected. But here we decided to go for some Vanguard deployment fun. I'm playing as the Beastmen, I Vanguard deployed. Kooken's playing as the Greenskins, he Vanguard deployed. And the Bretonnian player is pretty much leaving this Dark Elf player out to dry, because he's now getting 2-on-1 by both the Greenskins and the Beastmen. Some strong team play from our enemies. Now, if you don't know what a goon squad is, it's when somebody takes about 3 single entities, typically lords or heroes, maybe monsters, and sends them straight after an enemy lord. As you can see happening here to me, I've got Morgor, who's been attacked by a black dragon, and a manticore. There is another manticore, but he's decided to throw that into some missiles. But yeah, this is what it's all about. Somebody sends these 3, usually flying units because they're very mobile and can chase down lords easily, straight after an enemy lord. As soon as the battle starts, that's their first command. Get after the lord, don't worry about anything else. Now the first simple thing you can do to help your lord out is to give them some kind of bodyguard unit, even if it's something cheap. I've got Morgor here, and just some Ungor spears are enough for him to be able to run through to escape anything pursuing him. Of course, a more elite unit would be better, but even these cheap units give them something to run through, which can often be enough for an escape. And goon squads are the reason why footlords generally aren't a good idea. For the Beastmen, it's really one of the only choices because Morgor is by far the best Beastmen lord. Generally though, you'll want a lord on a mount. If they have a mount, put them on some kind of mount. That mobility of just being on a horse or something quick can help keep them alive so much easier. The only lords that shouldn't be on mounts are those that can't go on mounts, like Morgor here, Grimgor, Vlad von Carstein. I'm going to do it again here to escape this canine assassin. Look at him just strolling away. 0 fucks given. No worries about that assassin. He's fine. So I used my units there to push that assassin back because I don't want Morgor fighting him. And now Morgor's free again. And I've got those units there to help Morgor out if something else should pursue him. Another good way to try and escape, or to even try to trap enemy lords, is to use high mass units, monstrous infantry, even single large monsters. These can be great because the enemy won't be able to simply push through them like they will infantry. Here I've got some chaos spawn on Leon Kerr, and I've just spawned up some others on the other side of him. So now he's surrounded by those heavy chaos spawn that he won't be able to push through too easily. And now that we've got him pinned down, the Kooken man's going to bring in his Arachnarok Queen, and well, it's looking bad for Leon Kerr. So we can kind of punish lords and these little goon squads when they dive in if we have the right combinations of units. Of course this is a 2v2, so we have more units than we normally would, but even in a 1v1 it's the same thing. If you can find a way to punish the enemies for diving in on you and trying to get the goon squad, not that this was a goon squad, this is just Leon Kerr by himself, but if you can find a way to punish the enemy lord and get a hold of them, it's going to be bad news for the enemy. You can see he's getting no help from his dragon ally, so that's great teamwork again. And Kooken man's going to hit him with a fungi here just as he tries to escape, thinking he's made it out. Oh no. No. You come back and fight that Arachnarok Queen. In comes the Dark Elf Dragon Lord, making great attempts to save his Bretonnian ally by attacking the nearby archers rather than the spider. Good one, Dark Elf guy. And Leon Kerr is gonna go bye-bye. So we've turned around the goon squad here. We took care of the manticores. The dragons managed to survive for now. He's going to escape. But ultimately, the goon squads didn't work. And really, they don't work a lot of the time if you pay attention. The only time goon squads are really dangerous is when you don't notice them and they get after your lord. As long as you pay attention and keep an eye out for that congregation of lords, heroes and single large monsters, even flying cavalry perhaps, you should be able to avoid them no problem. So the first thing you can do to try and escape goon squads is pull your lord that they're trying to kill through your friendly units, whether it's infantry, cavalry, monsters, whatever, anything will act as a roadblock to slow the enemies down and keep your lord safe. Now, this next one is all about the flyers. I brought Azag here against the Chaos and the Dark Elves because I wasn't expecting too much in the way of flying units, so I thought Azag would be safe in the skies. Thought maybe there'd be a dragon, but he'd be able to outrun most things, no problem. And the Kooken man also has a flying lord in the form of Imric on Menaithnir, who is of course a very strong star dragon, but is much slower at only 80 speed, so he won't be able to outrun other flying units. And oh boy, as the enemy got a lot of flying units. 2 manticores for the Dark Elves, 3 manticores for the Chaos, one of them the Lord, 2 of them Exalted Hero manticores, and there's Marathi as well, so yes, heavy goon squaddery on the go here in the form of the manticore meta, apparently. So right at the start of the battle, they're going to hone straight in on Imric, all 4 of them. They know he's a slow target, he can't outrun them, and Kooken knows it too. So he's running away here, but he's not actually running to try and outrun them because he knows he can't. What he's trying to do is go to ground. He's going to find the first enemy infantry he can, attack them so that his dragon goes to ground and all the enemies go to ground. This now gives him a chance to even the odds. He's got his Fireborn in there, as you can see. They're going to help support his lord. They'll be able to put some anti-large damage on all those manticores. I've noticed that he's in trouble. I'm going to send in my 3 units of squig hoppers and also send over my skirmish cav and Azag as well. So I'm going to come and try to support him and help save his lord. And this is going to help us potentially turn the tables here. We're now going to overpower them with more units than they want. They tried to do that to Imric and to get a 4-on-1. Well, now we've got a million squig hoppers, a dragon, some Fireborn and Azag in there, all sorts of stuff coming to get into these manticores. And we are indeed going to mess them up because they're trapped and surrounded now. So this is another potential way to deal with Goon Squads. They're trying to bring lots of power into one place and overpower a single unit. You're pretty much just trying to do the same thing to them. Bring more than what they've got and just pile it all into them and try and take him out. It's a bit risky here if wind spells or vortex spells come along, but it's going to be worth it in this case. It's just about matching the damage they can do with your own damage. And you can see these two guys don't really have too much of a clue. This Chaos player is literally just clumping everything up into one ball. I'm pretty pissed I don't have a foot of Gork right now because that would put a swift end to this battle. But as we can see, Imric's fine. He hasn't taken much damage at all. The manticores here are getting absolutely messed up. Azag's fine. He hasn't taken much damage. This Chaos Lord's been pretty beaten up. So we have thoroughly punished this little Goon Squad for diving in after Imric. We've taken out 3 or 4 manticores. The enemy lord's been messed up. And this is just punishing them in multiple ways. It's punishing them for charging in after Imric and Goon Squadding in the first place. It's punishing them for not having the hindsight to see that we were going to surround them and mess them up and not trying to pull their manticores away. They stayed there desperate to try and get that Imric kill because that's how Goon Squad players roll. They don't really learn how to play the game properly. They just try to rely on that Lord kill to get themselves an easy win so they don't have to micro well. They don't have to learn the good matchups or learn how to use tactics. They just rely on that easy, pathetic tactic, and it often fails against anyone who has a clue. And apparently I don't have a clue at the moment because I missed the opportunity to chase off this Chaos Lord. I'm going to realise now and send Azag after him. Should have done that as soon as he was running away and I probably would have chased him off the map. But yeah, a thorough deletion of a Goon Squad there, all by overpowering them in one spot. Speaking about being in one spot, this Chaos guy still, oh, look at it. That is a Magic Spells wet dream right there. If I had a purple sun on Azag, I would absolutely tear that to pieces. But unfortunately, I don't. So yeah, 2 things to take away from this replay. Number 1, if you have a flying lord and you can't outrun what's pursuing you, you need to go to ground to try and even the odds in terms of units. If you have a fast flying lord like Azag here, he's pretty fast. He can outrun most things. Manticores aren't going to catch him, so he's fine. He can just run around and avoid stuff. He doesn't have to go to ground necessarily. Whereas slow flying lords, namely dragons are the slow flyers, they might be in trouble if they get 3-on-1'd in the sky. Skirmish Cav actually is another good way to help deal with Goon Squads. They can put constant pressure on Goon Squads attacking a Lord, and the Goon Squads won't be able to catch them because they're Skirmish Cav. They're good at getting away from stuff. So those can be another good choice to try and help protect your Lord. But yeah, the 2 main points. Number 1, if you have a slow flying Lord that can't outrun what's pursuing them, go to ground. Number 2, if you have the Goon Squad on the ground, try and match their power so you can even the odds and put some serious damage on that Goon Squad. Even if only until your Lord is safe. You don't have to stay there trying to completely kill them off, just do it until your Lord can escape. And even if it's a Dragon Lord on the ground, you can still pull through your friendly units to escape stuff. Whether it's infantry, cavalry, anything can help your Lord escape. So again, just have the awareness to watch out for those Goon Squads and see situations that are about to happen. If you've got a slow Lord and the enemy's got a bunch of fast flyers, they're probably going to try and come after them if it's in the sky. So you can start to prepare, looking for that enemy unit that you're going to use to go to ground on, so that you can try and even the odds. And then moving your cavalry and monsters to that same unit so they can support the Lord when he lands. Bringing over your missile units to try and help support your Lord against the Goon Squad. Focus firing your missiles and artillery at any of the Goon Squad coming your way. Using magic to try and help support your Lord. There's a variety of things you can do to prepare for that incoming squad. Now, one more battle here. We've got Chaos and Chaos versus Bretonnia and Bretonnia. And as we can see, lots of Bretonian lines of death here to try and take advantage of. A couple of Grail Knights on the edge here. And then going all in on the Goon Squad is this Bretonian. So he's got just a regular Lord, but on a Pegasus. He's got some Royal Pegasus Knights and then 2 Paladins, both on flying mounts as well. So when you see something like that, 2 heroes both on flying mounts next to each other, you can only really expect Goon Squad from them. The other player just has Leon Kerr and some Royal Pegasus Knights together, so that's fine. That's just kind of a Lord and a bodyguard. His army doesn't have lines of death, so he knows what he's doing a little bit more. But there we go. They're both chilling out right now, just waiting for us to come to them. They have the ranged advantage with a little bit of artillery. Got some cavalry on the flank there. I'm going to start to try and move my army up, get my cavalry round the back so I can blast them with my horse masters from behind. But otherwise, this isn't too worrying of an army for me. I'm just going to barrel forward, trying to hit them with some magic, take out their cab with all my dragon ogres, and things should be absolutely fine. These two Grail Knights, I was worried about them getting after my horse masters because they were kind of close to the edge. I didn't have a lot of room to move away from them, but they didn't move at all. I don't know what this guy is microing, but nothing in his army seems to be moving. And he's quite happy for me to come up behind his Grail Knights and start shooting him in the back with my horse masters. I'm trying to avoid their shield, so that's why I'm getting up behind them rather than shooting them from the front. Lots of damage going in on them, nice and quick. My army approaches. So Kolek on the left, mostly by himself, but of course the halberds aren't really far away. And I'm going to drop Kolek's ability here on these Grail Knights, expecting them to move, in all honesty. I thought he'd see it, but nope. Going to do a nice bit of damage with that as well. Putting the hurt on his powerful units, and this little goon squad over here, staying put for now. And oh, my warhounds very nearly got a hold of his artillery. I vanguard deployed them, ran them across the map. And it's actually his ally that saved his artillery from my warhounds as they were hidden in the trees and they came out. I had no idea. Just dropped a pendulum on his front line though, punishing that line of death as I always talk about. Going to be able to push through them no problem. Kolek's getting after the Grail Knights now. The Horse Master's still peppering them. And of course, here comes the Goon Squad. The Royal Pegasus Knights, the Lord and the two Paladins all coming in. I'm going to match it though, just like we did just now. Matching the power, matching the damage output. Going to bring the Summoners of Rage in. Of course, they're a very strong anti-large unit. They'll do some serious work. He's going to bring in the Grail Knights as well. I've still got my Horse Masters pressuring them though, so trying to even things out. I'm also going to bring over my other Shaggoth as well, who is fighting on the other side of the army for now, but going to pull him to this side. You can see getting him over here in a hurry to try and help out. Kolek's okay though, he's taking a bit of damage, but nothing too bad. The Summoners are making it difficult for the Paladins to get to him, who are probably the biggest threat. He has brought some spears in here as well, but they've broken already. The Summoners making short work of a lot of these things, putting some serious damage on its Lord. And I did bring my Dragon Ogre here to try and break this infantry quickly so that these halberds could come over and help as well. They were fighting some men-at-arms. Sent the Dragon Ogre to terrify them and get rid of them so that these halberds can start to get into these Paladins and this Lord. So just like we did in the previous replay, putting tons of power into the same place just as they're trying to do to our Lord to get rid of them. And you can see we're punishing them here, beating the crap out of their Lord. We've routed him. Lucky for him, we've got nothing that can catch him here. If only I had my Warhounds, they could chew him down. But he's going to escape and live for now. Kolek's absolutely fine. Dragon Ogre's fine. Summoners are fine. We're all good. Still the Paladins around though. Got to deal with them. Leon's come over. Got after my caster though. Not a huge deal. Going to send my little power force, my little goon squad over there to get his now. Or to get the Bretonnian guy. As he is leaving his Lord very vulnerable by leaving it next to two Dragon Ogres. Kuken's doing just fine on his side. In comes the Paladins. Back again. Trying to get after Leon Kerr. He's going to escape. This Bretonnian player at least had the good sense to get his Lord out of there as quickly as possible. In comes the Paladins again though, and the Lord trying to get after Kolek, but still, we've got the Summoners, we've got the Shaggoth, we're gonna be fine. Kukenman's over here, taking out some cavalry with a nice pit of shades. Got his infantry going. He's only got cheap infantry, but they'll do enough against these Bretonnian infantry. As you can see, we got so many Dragon Ogres in this battle, it's unholy. But still, the Goon War rages on, trying to take out this Bretonnian Lord here. He's wavering. Leon Kerr's fine. He's escaping again because he's flying. He's lucky. He's goddamn lucky. Leon Kerr, though, coming back in to try and get Kolek dead once again. We'll focus in with the Shaggoth, with the Summoners, with the Halberds. And now he's in a bad way. He's surrounded by all of my powerful, hard-hitting, anti-large stuff. And this is where people get silly with Goon Squads. They get so desperate to try and kill the enemy Lord that they basically sacrifice their Lord. They think there's nothing better that their Lord could be doing than trying to kill the enemy Lord right now. Could have been supporting its army somewhere else, but nope, wants to put all the power into this very dangerous space where there's tons of Dragon Ogres, which will absolutely mess up Lords, large Lords, like Leon Kerr, as well as heroes and cavalry, flying cavalry, Pegasus Knights, Paladins, whatever. They're all going to get messed up by a whole ton of Dragon Ogres. It's just very, very silly and careless to try and take out Lords this way. These two Paladins now going to get tied up. Dragon Ogre party all over their faces. And Kolek's absolutely fine. He's taken a fair pounding, but he's still got about a quarter of his health left. But was it worth it for these guys? They've lost two Lords, two halves of Paladins, a bunch of Pegasus Knights. Was it really worth it to try and take 3/4 of the health off of Kolek? Probably not, because now the rest of your armies have done nothing, and you've lost. So there's a bunch of ideas on how you can deal with goon squads, how to avoid them, how to survive them, and how to turn the tables on them a little bit. Maybe I'll do a more formal guide on this at some point, but I thought this was just a good few examples that some people could learn a few things from. So hopefully you found this useful. If you struggle with goon squads and don't know how to deal with them, this will give you some ideas. But really the main thing, like I said, is just being aware of them. The biggest danger of them is just you not noticing that they're gooning on your lord and beating the crap out of him, because then within a minute they'll probably have your lord dead. But if you can start to do something about it before or when they catch you, you'll probably have a good chance of getting away and surviving it, and maybe even punishing them for it. And if you're one of those players that does this and is one of these goon squad guys, well, I'm not going to be too hard on you. I understand you want to win, but there's really better ways to do it, and goon squadding and trying to get that early lord kill and sacrificing your lord and a whole bunch of expensive units to do it is really not worth it, and you're not really going to get much better at Total War if you try to play that way and win that way. Yeah, you might be getting wins with it. It's because you're playing new players who don't know how to deal with it. Play anyone more experienced and you are going to get messed up. So it only really holds back your own learning of the game, I think, if you opt to try and rely on these tactics. There's nothing wrong with getting after the enemy lord if the opportunity presents itself. But choosing a bunch of units and saying, yep, those are going to go straight for the enemy lord right at the start of the battle and I'm going to get that win through them. That's not a good way to play and not a good strategy. Taking out an enemy lord is about finding the right opportunity at the right moment rather than just taking the first opportunity to get after a lord. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the future.